Oh man! All right. See, we're good here. Let me set up my monitor thingy real quick. Andrew,
Yes.
guess how much weight I've gained since I started making cakes?
All the weight that you've lost.
Not that bad, but dude, 10 pounds, bro.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, to be fair, like there was one like 2 weeks when Chris went to vacation that I really slacked on my gym. Like I only went like a couple days, stuff like that. So like I'm sure that was around the time with like the cakes and all that shit. So you know.
Well, that's like when I went to the doctor yesterday. They had to weigh me and stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh, you're like blah blah blah." I'm like, "That can't be right." You mean to tell me I somehow lost like 15 pounds while doing absolutely nothing?
It's called being sick.
Yeah, no. Good, do it again.
There's no way.
I want to recount.
You ready?
I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, COVID was perfect for that because I'm like, I don't want to eat because nothing tastes good.
Yep. Yeah, I'll do it for you. Honestly.
Yeah. All right, yeah, I'm ready.
Nah, I just got to get back in track. I've been slacking, honestly. All right, ready?
Yeah.
What is that sound?
It's me.
Oh, that's you?
Yeah, no. Oh no, I don't know what that is.
Oh, it keeps happening. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. It sounds like it's from Discord, but anyways. And welcome to another episode of A Talk of Opportunity. In the mornings. Me, your host today, Jose, will welcome you to a world of dread, darkness, and anguish. Accompanying me in this trip is Andrew.
Hello.
Oh God! Andrew, you just your NPR voice.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
sorry. Let me use my NPR voice. Hello.
yeah, I got a little closer to the mic. Just a little closer.
It's just a blue bar.
I think I'm gonna leave that intro in. But welcome everybody to another episode of A Talk of Opportunity. Today we're talking about Death Stranding again. By the way,
Did you say Death Stranding?
Did I say Death Stranding? Yes, we are.
I mean, we can talk about Death Stranding. Let's do it.
Click the next slide and change this to Death Stranding.
It's just naked Norman Reedus holding blue.
Baby.
All right.
All right, cool. All right, no, Death in Space. Sorry, and that's a reminder because let's be honest, you guys need a reminder. It's been a minute since we last recorded. This is a podcast all about tabletop RPGs, board games, gaming, and movies and books and whatever we like to talk about. Because
now what we've been doing is that we've broken up the schedule to keep you on your toes to see if you are paying attention.
Dude, excellent marketing hook. All right, that's
exactly. It's like when Daniel Day-Lewis takes a movie role. He's very selective about it.
yeah, sure, that, but without a talent.
Yeah, or The Craft.
Oh yeah, but today, or the dedication. But today, all right, enough. Today we're talking about Death in Space. More specifically, we're gonna delve a little deeper into character origins and kind of like talk about how we would use it in one of our adventures if we could play this game, because we can never finish D&D because for some reason things just keep happening and this campaign is gonna last for like 5 years.
No, it's not. No, it's not. If I have to, I'll end it next session. Don't think I won't.
Nuke. All right.
The Rime of the Frost Maiden was the friends we all made along the way. Now get in the robot, Shinji.
And with that, let's play some of that beautiful music that you guys haven't heard in like the past 3 months.
So after that brutal assault by the Orc warrior, the initiative now goes to you. Jose, what do you do?
I'm gonna cast and we're back.
Oh, okay. All right, let's.
You can talk.
Well, no. I was just gonna say, like, on the days where like I don't have the rush, my computer's up, raring to go, like
Pristine.
fired up. Yeah, exactly. One of the days where I'm like, I got 45 minutes until we're ready. The computer's like, give me a second.
The trick is that you cannot show fear
Yeah.
to your computer. Like the minute they know you're rushing, they're like, ah, don't. They just have a lot of anxiety, Andrew. Okay, don't.
Okay, look.
Can't work
Look.
under pressure.
When Alex in The Expanse said after a certain amount of time tools have souls, I felt that because that's true. and 9 times out of 10, it's spiteful.
Yeah. All right, so this is fun. The music is playing, but I cannot hear it.
Just so you know, I had a can of Boss coffee for this episode, but I also have no willpower, and it didn't make it. So,
Fair enough.
Because like yesterday, I'm like, I'm gonna give myself a little treat, and had that Boss coffee.
Death in Space playlist. Yeah, there you go. Whoa, now we can hear it. Cool. All right, Andrew. So, today we're talking about Death in Space, more specifically, characters and their origins. Ooh. How much do you remember of Death in Space? I don't remember anything.
I remember that it was like a really like kind of grim, dark survival RPG in space.
Yep.
I think did it use a D10, not a D20?
D10 system. Yep.
Okay, D10 system. Yeah, and I remember a lot of it was based around like scavenging and just trying to repair stuff to like a normal like semi
Nothing is
thing.
Yeah, nothing is new. Everything
Yeah.
has been everything is made out of scraps.
Yeah, everything's recycled, and there's apparently something. What was it? It's called like the Gem Wars or something like that. Or
Yeah, that kind of collapsed. Essentially, the colonies revolted.
right
The damn colonies.
now, I'm assuming it's Gem spelled GEM, not GYM, right?
No, it's GYM. It's a bunch of like buff
Oh,
dudes who are like
just a bunch of way bros.
exactly that.
It was the way bros versus the soy boys. There were no survivors.
That's exactly it. Let me see. Hold on, because I think I already fucked up by saying it was a D10 system. Just want to make sure.
Well, I mean, I could just misremembered, but I also remember it being incredibly dark and dreary, and
No,
naturally
it is a D20 system, but it relies on D6s.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it's a lot like Lancer, where it's okay, where it's just like a
pretty much.
D20 and a D6, and that's all you need.
Yeah. But you don't have to worry about that stuff because today we're talking about character origins. Because last time I kind of like walk you through like the main classes or character origins, but didn't really dive into the one thing that makes them special, which is you get to pick out of 2 skills per. Right?
Okay.
Like when you select one, not 2 skills, but like 2. The music's pretty loud. Hold on. I love this song, but like the middle of it when it hits, like
Oh yeah.
I just cranked up the volume.
Oh yeah,
to
like
max.
the drop. Yeah.
Yeah. When you select one of the characters that you want to play, one of the character origins, you get to choose 1 out of 2 specific traits.
Okay.
Which just gives you a little extra for your character. Again, this is a dark future survival space game, sci-fi game. You're a squishy boy, and you just gotta make the best out of who you are for as long as you can before you die.
Have you ever watched the movie High Life?
No.
This game gives me vibes of that movie, which is it's an incredibly dreary, dark, like hopeless kind of like space movie. But
Oh, it's with Homeboy.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen this.
yeah, it's not a good time.
Oh,
I mean,
I should watch
it's a good movie, but it's not a good time. Like we watched it, and I'm like, I don't like this.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
which it's a lot coming from you, honestly.
Yeah. Well. Anyways.
All right, well, let's get to it. Character origins. We're gonna go. What I want to do for this episode, Andrew, is kind of like just talk through them, kind of like how we bullshit all the time about how we will play with some of these guys, or whenever we learn about something. So the first one is a very basic one. It's a carbon dude,
Okay.
right? They're grown in space, in exowombs, short lifespans, live their lives off-world, untrolled by darkness. These are the oh my god, my my expanse terminology is leaving me right now. These
belters?
are the belters, yeah, of this universe. The two traits that you can pick from this is engineer lungs, which allows you to use half oxygen. Because remember, in the game, when you're in your evac suit, you have, or in certain environments, you have a certain amount of oxygen that you can live without after your supply runs out. So these guys essentially can hold their breath longer.
Oh, okay.
Or they can be gearheads, so they just repair twice as fast. So quite literally, belters in the Expanse universe.
So they're like test tube babies?
Yeah, in this universe. So the kind of the thing with this game is that I was trying to find deeper like lore on all these guys, but all they have is literally just this.
I mean, that's kind of that's unfortunately the problem with like niche RPGs, like that. Yeah. That's all you get. So. Well,
I don't think it's unfortunate. I think it's kind of cool because it just relies on your knowledge of sci-fi to kind of like dive into it. So this is probably one of the most like basic ones, so one of the most normal ones. But yes, they are homegrown in exowombs. Excuse me, in space, and they do perform better under low oxygen.
Now, when it says like short lifespans, are we talking like just a couple years, or?
Yeah, funny enough, it doesn't specify. I'm assuming it's like, I will take it as they just have like half of like a regular human length life.
Yeah.
Because in my lore, it will be that their biology is accelerated since they were grown in exowombs.
Yeah, and they're probably grown just to have like workers and stuff like that.
Yep.
So yeah, I would imagine it would probably be something like the Metal Gear Solid cloning, where it's like once you hit 35, poof, that's it.
Actually, that's a pretty good one right there.
Yeah.
So because you're a clone, I'm assuming you're a clone, you just live a lot shorter.
Yeah.
And again, you repair twice as fast, which if you remember this game, is all about repairing the shit that's breaking down as you're trying to survive in space. So I guess it's always good to have a carbon origin in your party.
So no, I lost my train of thought.
Oh, yeah. So I mean, this is the most boring one, so you can just move to the next one.
Okay. The Chrome.
Yeah. So ancient AI, they're being placed on an organic body that is organic slash well, not only organic body, organic slash machine type, almost like an android of sorts. And they do run. They still need oxygen to live.
Right.
And the main two things that you can get, the main two traits that you can get, or well, the ones that you can pick from, is native machine, so that you can talk to machines as if they were real people. So you can literally plug into a computer and you're like, yo, what's up? Can you help us out? And the computer's like, no, fuck you. I'm not gonna open this. This is my whole. So I can see already like a lot of like role playing moments here. Just the fact that you get to like converse with technology itself. I think that could be pretty funny. And then body battery, which is even funnier to me because you essentially can power small electronics.
Yeah,
like charging your phone.
Say like, oh great, you're like one of those little batteries that like Teresa carries around in her purse all the time, just like, oh, gotta charge my phone.
Yeah, pretty much. What I love about this is that it says ancient AI.
Yeah,
no explanation.
Just like, but how ancient are we? Like, is it like? Is it like Dolly or something, or like...
It's Mid-Journey?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to think of. Like how ancient are we talking?
I can't really converse with you, but check out his hands, and it's like. Well, if you remember in the lore of this game, like a lot of knowledge has been lost.
Right.
Through war and just separation because everybody's so far apart from each other.
Well, how far in the future does this game take place? Does it give you like a rough time? Because if it's like 10,000 years in the future, then ancient could be something from like the year 7,000 and still technically be ancient, you know?
No, if I remember correctly, it was like tens of thousands.
Yeah. So then ancient could be something that's like godlike to what we're at right now.
Right,
So-
right.
But
I do like to think that it's just Mid Journey V2 or something, or V5. Like you can talk to it.
I can make hands now.
Yeah, and then for some reason the actual like Chrome person has like an extra finger.
Yeah. No. I like the abstract of V1. Go back to that. But how often are you having to like power stuff up in a way that would like use body battery? Like is that
So that's interesting because there is a lot of technologies that just kind of run. Remember, the first thing is that your spacecraft, like your hub, if you have a spacecraft or a station, it has a power source,
right?
That is supposed to keep the standard things like oxygen, all this stuff, whatever. So when this comes into play is like, let's say that your power source gets damaged or something, so it's working at half capacity, so it's only doing the essentials like oxygen, right? But then you need to power like like a keypad on a door to get through or something like
Gotcha.
that. Or your little hubs and communication devices to kind of like get across. It happens a lot. I mean, the world is always decaying, so it will happen more often than not.
Okay.
You actually need to power something small. There's no hard rules on like, the item list and then this item says that it can be powered by this guy. No, it's just whatever makes sense.
Right. So, but I'm assuming that there's got to be some kind of mechanic for like small parts failure or something like that.
It's part of the repair mechanic, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, and then if you give this guy like a carpet, like for him to rub his feet, he gets an extra plus too.
we gotta find the shag. But the native. Hold on.
Oh God, he's dying.
No, I'm not dying.
Okay.
You ain't gonna get rid of me that fast.
Damn it.
But I would imagine the native machine is pretty what's it? It's kind of like a weird Death in Space version of like Speak with Animals, because I'm assuming.
Oh yeah.
I'm assuming not a lot of people could talk to computers.
Yeah. Essentially, well, I think that's kind of the cool thing because one of the main things that you do is explore wreckages and find like abandoned stations or spaceships that have like a wreckage of a spaceship and kind of loot that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that could be some really intriguing stuff as a DM or referee in case of this game, to allow you to tell the story as you're exploring whatever some station that has been abandoned, right? Like this guy plugs in to kind of like get in, and you can already start giving hints as to what happened because the machine recorded it, or the machine knows, or the machine let did it happen. Like I don't know, it could be like a lot of different things.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty neat. I was wondering if there was going to be a species or race or whatever that doesn't use oxygen, and I thought this was going to be it, but nope. Apparently they all they'll all find a way to use oxygen.
Yeah, well, it's integrated into an organic body, so like
Right.
while the AI uses the organic body to move, it's still an organic body.
Wait, so does that mean they just put the AI like in a corpse or something? Oh, that's awful.
Yep.
I kind of like it.
Yep.
That would actually be a really cool way to like re-roll a character that like you were playing as a carbon and then they died and you're like, but I kind of like the character, so can we just like make him a chrome? You know?
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that'd be pretty fun. So my big question is, does smell travel in a vacuum?
I hope not.
Because otherwise this guy's very stinky.
Oh man. Oh God. Just shove a computer in the cranium. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting because I mean you can tell that, just because it is to the point that they can attach it to like an organic, that at some point there were AI driven, androids / robots, and it's just the technology decayed so much that they had to like devolve into an organic body.
Yeah.
I just think that's pretty interesting in my opinion, because like what the fuck is AI trying to do with an organic body, you know what I mean?
or it could
and the fact that it's trying to survive as well. I mean, if you just because you're AI, the way we know AI now, like you're trying to survive just as much as the rest of the organics in this world or in this universe.
Or it could be that it's in a organic body as like a sort of built-in failsafe So that way, it's like, an AI can't achieve like immortality because it's going to die eventually if it's made out of organic material. So there could be a possible reason, like maybe we tried messing with AI to have inorganic bodies and it went really really bad. So now we'll make a carbon just specifically for an AI, so that way in 40 years time he's not a problem.
Right. I think I wonder. Yeah, I wonder if it's like a carbon that doesn't have. Yeah, how the fuck does that work?
I mean,
or the minute you install the AI on the brain and like it takes over, like that's kind of
or maybe they make carbon specifically for chromes,
Yeah, with like lower brain functions or something like that.
Or probably no brain function, just have the, just put the AI in there, shove it in there.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Get as dark as you want. That's the game.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and I mean, totally, you can find one of these, as you explore, and like a dark ship. Like, oh, hi there, human. I'm afraid I can't let you do that, Dave.
Oh God.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oof.
All right, I love this one for one reason and one reason only. So the punk is just a punk. Cyberpunk. Think of punk as punk.
Mm-hmm.
Rebellious, nonconformist. The whole like thing that classic punks are. But you have two traits that are very far apart from each other. So actually, no, they kind of work with each other. So you're stubborn, which means you can re-roll a dice once per session, right? Which is cool. But for some reason, he has green thumb.
What?
You know everything about plants and what to use them for. You start with a pocket greenhouse and some random seeds.
Well, what kind of plants do you know about?
I just thought it was really interesting because like, the funny thing is that most like goth friends and punk friends that I had like in high school and stuff, they're all plant people. Like, how does that work with each other?
I just get the imagery of like a stereotypical punk, but like in an exosuit in a greenhouse, just like nah, fuck the system while watering your plant.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's just such a funny contrast. I'm like, damn. But the funny thing is, to me, it kind of relates to real life because most of my punk goth friends are green thumb, like always posting their plans and their fucking collection. And I'm like, oh, okay.
But how? Okay, so.
Well, I mean, I guess, is there anything more punk than like growing plants?
Yeah, exactly. In space. Like, fuck you, space. I'll grow whatever I want.
You can't tell me what I can't do.
Yeah. I'll germinate the shit out of the seed. Don't think.
Yeah. So stubborn makes sense to me. Actually, both of them make sense to me. But like stubborn is pretty straightforward. Green thumb, I don't think I dove enough into the game to actually know if there's any like. Well, I'm assuming there's cures and stuff that you can do with certain plants.
Well, yeah, I was gonna ask, like, I would imagine because it's a survival RPG, is food like a big problem?
Right.
So like,
yeah, well, yeah, it is.
So like maybe the green thumb will help. Like, hey, I can, like how in the Expanse they relied a lot on mushrooms because they were grow in space.
Right.
So maybe it's something where it's like, hey, I know a lot of like mycology and stuff like that. So I know, I can grow mushrooms. That can be like a sort of cheap sustenance for us.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Which, I mean, no, you're right. The thing is that in this world, most things, the interesting thing is that most things happen in space hubs or spaceships.
Mm-hmm.
Like, very rarely, well, not rarely, but like it's a whole thing to go into a planet. So I can only imagine how precious just Earth, just dirt is in space.
I mean, I would imagine like dirt in a space,
much less growing something in that dirt.
Yeah. Well, also you gotta think about it, like growing plants and stuff and having like greenhouses, that could be a source of oxygen. Yeah,
that's true.
So like, I would imagine like a punk that knows their way around like plants and stuff, it's probably could be fairly successful in whatever sort of economy exists in Death in Space, because all that stuff, if going planet side is like not an option, I would imagine anything organic like that is probably coming at a premium. I would imagine.
Yeah, for sure.
I would imagine a pot of dirt is probably worth its weight in gold.
No, 100%. And what I love about this is like all through that. I mean, look at her. She can fucking chop you off in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That blade is not for trimming shrub. Okay.
I mean, it could be though.
It's like a very beautiful shear scissors.
Yeah, exactly.
In the shape of a katana.
Low.
Throws it at the enemy.
Doing a little bonsai while listening to Black Flag. I get it. But like, okay, so like, does it describe what a pocket greenhouse is? Like, is it literally just like a greenhouse that can fit in your pocket, or is it like?
No, I think it's a way to keep seeds with you.
Because I mean the stubborn one, that's pretty much we know that is like that's pretty cut and dry. But the green thumb one opens up a lot of possibilities.
Yeah. It's like an actual physical, like a miniature greenhouse. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean it could be. I don't know. Because like a little like a tiny little box like a terrarium. I'm like, hey, here you go.
Man, a lot of corruption stuff. I think that's gonna be the next episode. Corruption. It's pretty fucking cool.
Ooh.
Yeah.
If not, it's fine. I just want just something like that. Like I want to know if there were like mechanics involved, or if there were mechanics behind anything like that. Because, like, I would imagine, like I said, the ability to grow stuff in space would be pretty lucrative.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Funny enough, I got a lot of like spray paint, parachute, cooking kit. Nothing about a greenhouse. Electronics, food. Oh, why don't you look at that? Repairs. No, nothing about a portable fucking.
That's alright.
Yeah, that's the thing with That's the thing with freaking small RPGs like this.
Yeah.
It's probably buried in like the pages.
That's alright. It's alright. We don't need to worry about it.
Well, I wanted to know now.
Well, I mean, we can just look it up later.
No, now.
Oh, okay.
The first thing I get is that Reddit says, "Why isn't anyone recommending Death in Space?" That's funny.
Because.
Oh, never mind. I guess nobody has actually searched for this. Interesting. Oh well, that can be our next episode. All right. Now this is I think one of my most intriguing one, the Soul Pod.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read the little chunk that's there. It's like hibernating for decades, only staying awake for short periods. They dedicate their lives to the scientific study of slow cosmic phenomena. So, remember how I told you that there is a kind of like a static that permeates through all communications?
Right. Yeah.
And like everybody hears it, but nobody can like know what it is or even communicate with it. But everybody seems to hear something. All right, this adds to that mystery because now you have a class or a player character who has been potentially for thousands of years is studying what's happening to the universe, right? Mm-hmm. So these guys it's a big tool to just tell the story of death in space.
I feel like this would be very interesting in the hands of the right player. This is kind of like a loaded question because now it's like if you play as a soul pod, I feel like okay, now the onus of giving the lore is kind of on the player just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because because
not so much that, but maybe the player just starts asking the question, and just because they're a soul pod, the referee can give them a little bit more than what he would give the rest of the players.
Right. Oh yeah. You could do that too.
Also, it sounds great to hibernate for thousands of years and then just wake up for a couple minutes. I'm like, oh, all right, still here.
I mean,
the universe still here.
that's honestly that's incredibly. Hold on. Okay, maybe I am dying. But no, that's incredibly intriguing to me to have like someone that's quite literally a sleeper agent, and it's like, all right, we gotta bring him back just for this one mission, then we'll put him back under, you know.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, the cool part about this is that is for scientific study. Like, it's not like, you know, I'm gonna sleep because I invested in Bitcoin. I want to wake up when it's like worth 10 times more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's for a scientific aspect of this universe.
Right.
Which, to be fair, there's a lot of questions that are out there. So the two traits are long-lived. You have an all useful contact in every port, which is very useful. And then old tech. You have a portable hibernation pod that regenerates lost limbs, prevents aging, and the need to eat. Powered by starlight.
Okay, so how portable are we talking? Like, is it like like I got it behind me on a buggy port?
I'm thinking like you know, Dragon Ball, like the little like.
Oh, okay. I thought it was gonna be like. Hold on, I gotta bring my pod with me.
Yeah, which is funny because at one point it's like, oh, I'd read this, but then the one that we read about was the one for Cyberpunk. Remember the doctor?
Yeah.
The doctor class is the one that has the regeneration pod.
So
funny, yeah.
So having contacts and ports, because you said that'd be very useful. Would you care to elaborate on that?
Well, I mean, so the whole lore of this is that nobody trusts each other. Nobody trusts anybody. Like, it's really hard to just kind of like build a rapport with anyone because everybody's trying to survive. And the trash that you have, somebody else wants it.
Okay.
Like, constantly, right? Having a contact on every port just means that, like, you know someone that you can reach to right away and guide you through whatever hub sport you're in, or like point you in the right direction. Or like just give you a little bit of like, or not, or maybe it's like, no, you know, like, you know, I loved you and you left me, like I haven't seen you in 80 years, look at me now, like that kind of shit. It could develop a lot of things, but yes, getting a way into ports, into hubs, is part of the game. Not necessarily like a big mechanic of it. It's just a persuasion type of situation, but it's something that needs to happen before you can like actually move through. It's just the whole port, because each port has different security levels.
Right. Okay. So it's just another way to get in without having to barter or potentially having to fight your way in. Got it.
Right.
Okay. Right. See, because I'm kind of like which one would I want to be? Would I want to be the long lived or the old tech? Because you know, because the carbon and the and oh god, what was the other one?
The Chrome.
God. Yeah, no, because those are like, okay, I'd obviously pick one over the other, but this one I'm like, kind of weighing the options. The one thing I thought of is that having a soul pod player would be a really interesting way to introduce a player like midway through a campaign that just like jumped in, like you're exploring an old station, you came across like a soul
pod.
Like a hibernation pod or something like that.
I wouldn't even put it on like hibernation pod. I would like to imagine like they just shut down. I mean, look at the art.
Yeah.
Like you look at that and it looks like a statue, and then like the eyes light up.
Well, maybe he's wearing the hibernation pod right now.
Oh, there you go.
Maybe that is the hibernation. Yeah, I know. It's the fact that it's like, oh, they dedicate their lives to study, and then they look like something out of Black Ops.
Yeah, exactly. Damn, bro, what the fuck? There's no like a lot of information on modules and tech, but not on like the stuff that the characters actually wear. Maybe I'm just not finding it.
That's alright. You just. I mean, it seems kind of rules light to begin with, so maybe it's just something that like the referee has to come up with like on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, it tells me what it does.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, soul pods. Like you said, fucking scientists that sleep for a long time and really can see the big picture because they can hibernate for many, many years.
It's just I look at this and I don't see scientists.
In this world, you're gonna be tough to survive.
I guess so. I mean, you would have to want to study whatever the fuck that static is.
yeah, exactly. I also imagine soul pods to be very like reclusive for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, yeah, because because they know like everyone I see, you're already dead.
Right.
You know,
right.
so
yeah, imagine that soul pod just wakes up for the end of the universe. I made it.
Finally.
Sweet release. Alright, so Velocity Curse, they don't actually look like this. This is the only like representation they have on the book for them. But this is what they say that they look like. It's the ill-fated ones that have started to lose their connection to reality. They shift and flicker in and out of space, time with glitching faces.
What the
So yeah, exactly. So really, I mean, yeah, they could look like that, like they're just a bunch of like pixels and stuff, or like a human. There's two versions that I see this. It's like I want to call it a Disney-fied Marvel version where you're like, and it looks like all like colors and you go in and out and come in and like or whatever, or the one that like tears you like layer by layer, skin, muscle, skeleton, like nervous system, and then back in.
So like the Watchmen version where it's just like Dr. Manhattan is reincorporating himself.
Exactly, but like really fast. So every time you see like through that person.
So what I got from that was that like if you look at them straight on, they look normal, but then like in your peripheral, they do like the Silent Hill nurses thing, and then you look back and it's like a different face, but like you're like, oh no, that's how they always looked. You know?
Right, exactly. Yeah, and so I like that because it's so fucking creepy.
Yeah.
And then the two things that you get with this one, or the two you can choose from, is future memory. So you have already been there once per session. Ask the referee for directions. So essentially, almost not necessarily a wish spell, but like kind of like that.
Yeah, it's a gimme, you know.
Yeah, I've seen this before. So what am I, you know? And then Pocket World, which is interesting. You start with a portable non-physical server, housing a virtual reality where you store memories to connect the past and future of your life. Up to 10 users can connect simultaneously.
So what would be the purpose of that? Is it just like a pocket dimension you can live in, or?
Well, I think yes. So I think it's more of like since they shift through space and time, it allows you to kind of like work the story and show glimpses and clues like physically while like executing, like I don't know, like they connect and then you have like a battle or something and you don't know what time it is, if it's before or after, you know, you're just there with him, with the Velocity Curse, showing you what he's seen, and then maybe that's a cool way for the referee to put in clues for the adventure.
Yeah.
You know, or like more like the Velocity is like, oh, I've seen the Velocity Curse is probably like, oh, I've seen this before. Can I connect to my Pocket World?
You know, that would be a really good way, because being a DM, one of the hardest things to do is to deliver exposition without making it seem forced. And having the Pocket World would probably be a really good way to bandage that, where it's just like, you know, like, oh, we're just gonna go into the Pocket World real quick to, I don't know, take a rest or something like that, and then that's when, you know, like the Velocity Curse, like gets like, I don't know, vision or some crap like that, or, you know, just some convenient way to deliver like the next story beat or seed or what have you, you know.
Yep. And the cool thing that makes me, when you were saying all of that dawned on me, is that, remember, memory is not always reliable.
Yeah.
And it says specifically memories. So I think that could be pretty interesting. Like, do you trust a Velocity Curse? You know, like they're out of contact with space and time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought it was a really interesting a really interesting character concept.
Yeah, this seems much more narrative based, like mechanics that would help the narrative.
Yeah,
I would honestly probably play this one just because I just like the thought of someone that's being tortured by their connection or lack thereof to reality.
Yeah, and to be fair, all of these guys get like the weapons and the armor and the evac suit and everything. Everything else is the same.
Would you trust a velocity curse with a weapon? Like,
Yes.
would you?
I don't know. But yeah, no, I just find it very interesting. Honestly, it has room to go wrong really quickly, like boring or like just making it too easy, depending on the referee. But it's just very interesting that it gives the player the power to be like, oh, I've seen the future.
Right. Well, the thing about it is that it specifically says that you can ask referee for directions. It does not specify whether the referee will tell you if there's any threats along the way.
Right. Exactly.
It could just be like, oh, we have to go down this, and this. Meanwhile, like the entire time, there's like crackling wires, and maybe there's like a rupture in a vacuum or something like that.
The other players are just like, you didn't see this in your future. It's like,
I mean, it could be like, oh, in the alternate reality that I saw it and everything was fine and not like blown to shit. So sorry, my bad.
Meanwhile, flickers in at us.
Yeah. How about this? How about you lose your connection to reality? See how you like it.
Yeah. So here's the void.
Okay.
Robed nihility shamans. Nihilistic? Nihilist.
Yeah.
But it's not nihilist, it's nihility.
Nihility?
Nihility? I'm just gonna call it robed nihilist shamans.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hidden behind masks, speaking through synthetic voice scramblers, they have seen visions of the edge of the universe.
Oof.
Again, the whole thing with like the universe collapsing, the static, nobody could never explain why. Like it's people know that essentially the universe is shrinking, they just don't know why or where. So these guys have seen visions of the edge of the universe. Yeah, the two things, that's why they're so nihilist. The two things that you get with this one is voice of the void. You can make nearby electronics emit static and crackling whispers, and masked, which you have a mask that you can reshape during rest into the resemblance of another face or mask at a distance. It fools most people.
Okay.
So a little bit of like a rogue type.
Kind of. Maybe like a rogue mixed with like a warlock.
Yeah.
I the first thing that sprung to my mind was that I can immediately see a void and a soul pod being on the opposite ends of the spectrum as to what is, like the soul pod's like, no, there's a reason for this, there's an obvious logical explanation, and the void's is like, no, maybe there isn't. Maybe
right.
Maybe
yeah,
it's just
you have the
old
scientific
gods.
mind. Yeah, you have the scientific mind and the faith-based mind, like coming together, And oh god, again, I just love the fact that they see visions of the edge of the universe. Like that's up to the referee to figure out, like, what is that vision? Like, how does that look like? How does the player?
Is it even
explain that?
Is it even real visions, or are they just or are they just psychopathic?
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Well,
yeah.
Like,
so I just imagine this dude, like, just like it looks there with the robe and the skulls and whatever, and then he pulls out a fucking machine gun. Well, to be honest, if somebody like this shows up in the darkness of a spaceship, I'd be just like, no, that's cool. Dude.
I've seen the end of the universe, but not for me.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Also, I love the fact that like it has a mask, right? That they can be reshaped to anything, but the way the art looks, I mean, can you imagine if I show up like a person that is dressed like that with the ropes and the skulls, but it has my face on it? You're like, Jose, are you okay? You will know instantly that something's wrong.
Well, I would imagine that like you pull the hood back and it's like, like maybe you don the hood and like your face is covered in shadow, and then you pull the hood back and it's like a different face,
Right. Yeah.
But the one that gets me is like the voices of the void. Like does that makes me wonder, like, does the static, does it have like like an actual mechanical purpose, or is it just flavor? I
think it's flavor and distraction type stuff, my psychological things, because remember, like, everybody hears the static, like there's been reports of like people who like listen to the void that there's something out there. So I imagine they're trying to spook some people.
Yeah, I mean,
the little communication device is like.
I'm talking like not even like in combat, but it could be something where it's like you're trying to barter with somebody, or somebody else is trying to barter with somebody, and the deal's going sour, and the void's like, you know what, fuck this, and then just like in the background just makes all of the electronics like slowly ramp up in static and stuff like that, and then just like, okay. You know, like roll for like intimidation or something.
Yeah, I think it's mainly that, honestly. Like it's kind of like what's the name of that? I always forget the not transmutation. That one spells in D&D that makes like the candles light up brighter and like.
Oh yeah, not is it thaumaturgy? No, not thaumaturgy.
No, thaumaturgy is the one with noise specific. Whatever that spell. It's a little bit like that.
Yeah, just like a little bit of extra. Well, because I mean. Because this is like kind of like hard sci-fi, I would imagine anything mystic would be like, whoa, okay, hold on, like let's back away, you know. I would imagine, like, personally my headcanon is that the voices of the void would be like that one part in Color Out of Space where that one guy's tapes were playing back and the noises all like crackled and distorted, and like his voice gets
exactly like that,
and high and stuff like that.
Just to make people shit their pants, so to give you a discount.
or just like a way to just get through someplace, like, you know, like, oh, these tunnel snakes or what the fuck ever are giving us a hard time. Like, no, voices of the voice here, bro.
Yeah. yeah, pretty much that.
Tunnel snakes rule.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think what I like about all these, I think this is the last one. Yeah. So I think what I like about all of these characters is that they are, first of all, they're very different from each other, and they have so much theming behind it. That plays so well with the Death in Space lore. You know, organic. You know, that's kind of like the human. It's fine.
Yeah.
And even then, they give him the whole, like, you know, you're born in an exo womb. And then the punk are probably like the two most normal ones. The rest are just like very specific for Death Space.
Yeah. Well, I feel like the first three. What was it? It was the carbon, chrome, and then the punk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I feel like those are like, hey, if you're like new to Death in Space and you want to try you want to play like carbon's obviously the safest option because it's just purely mechanical, you know.
Yep.
And then you got the chrome, which is like more mechanics but also like a little bit of narrative. And then you got the punk, which is one is pure mechanics and the other one could just be pure narrative. And then it kind of starts to break up later on. You know, like the soul pod, like the velocity cursed one, or the I already forgot the name of it. Is it velocity cursed?
Velocity cursed.
Yeah, like that one has one raw mechanic, but then one that's just pure narrative. But then like the other two can be like focused and stuff like that. And then you got the void, which is just straight narrative.
yeah. If I play the void ever, I will get like a voice synthesizer scrambler effect on my microphone.
Oh, that'd be cool. But no,
that'd be pretty sweet.
I think it's neat that you have like a sort of ramp up on like intensity, you know.
Yeah.
So
and I also love that it's love and scares me a little bit that it's so open rules wise. Again, I cannot find any of those things in the book. The specific things that they get. Like, it's not like player characters who, like, in D&D where, like, it tells you get a sword, and then you go back to the back and you see that's for the sword.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool. It tells you what it does right away, but it's up to, like, the referee and the player to, like, really figure that one out.
I would imagine playing a game of Death in Space is less, like, strategy-based tabletop RPG and more like, I have a story to tell in this grim, dark environment, and I want you guys to be interactive with it.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
So.
Very much so. Yeah.
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 So I mean, something like this, I can definitely see myself enjoying playing, knowing going in. That's like I'm here for a bad time.
I'm here to be spooked. I'm here to feel the press.
I'm here to be shook.
Yeah, I want to play this game. I feel like a one session of this game is like perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or maybe like a two session short story.
Yeah. Like a little mini adventure, like a three maybe 5 session max.
Yeah.
You know,
honestly, like a full campaign in this world will probably just make me very depressed.
Well, I mean, you would also probably be stretching it too thin, you know, because I don't think the mechanics can support a full 70 plus session adventure.
Fair enough.
Because I mean, you go into this universe already knowing that you're expendable. you know, nothing survives. Everything is scavenged and scrapped. So yeah, this would probably be like a good like short, like at most 5 session run. Like like and something fatalistic, like everyone's dying to power up this spacecraft or some crap like that. You know.
Oh, I just went to the website. They have a I think they have like an actual adventure.
Oh, do they?
No, I'm sorry. It's an expansion for Death in Space.
Oh, what?
Death in Space RPG Dead Flag Contracts, a collection of scenarios and tools. Oh, okay, so it is scenarios.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, dude, the artwork for these fucking books are so cool.
I have to look
Maybe
into
I'll
that
get it too. Yeah, but yeah, that's it for the player characters, the origins. I think they're bite-sized enough and give you enough theming for you to create a pretty cool character based on literally a paragraph. Like that's all they have in the book for each one of those.
Yeah, but like I said, for a game that's as rules light as this, that's probably all you need. You know, and this would definitely be a game that like going in, like I would probably just have like a session 0, even for like a small adventure, or at least like a little like, hey, the first half of the session is just gonna be us just going over, you know, like how the game's gonna probably play out. Yeah. Because I would imagine like the referee can probably only do so much in terms of storytelling. Like they would have to probably, you know, kick the ball over to the players, be like, all right, you're gonna have to just throw in something, give me something to work with, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Sweet. There is some news, Andrew.
Oh, really? Do we have time for that though?
It'll be quick because I don't have all the information.
Okay.
So I don't know if you saw, but D&D is releasing the core books again. They're not called 6th edition. They're like a revised core books, essentially.
What? Are they doing the Skyrim thing where they're just going to re-release 5e for the 15 years?
No. No, I think there was like a big news on like the next D&D. It was called like D&D Next and stuff like that, where it wasn't really gonna be like a full new edition. It was just gonna be like a intermediate evolution of 5.
Yeah, a 5.5. That's what everyone was calling it. I think it was 5.5.
Right. So they just released the artwork. They haven't really said a lot of the details about the books, but I think it's interesting that it's 2024. So Dungeons & Dragons 3 new revised core rule books have now officially release dates. Updated editions of the Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, and Monster Manual will drop periodically through the rest of 2024, with the final tome not arriving until next year. According to the press publisher Wizards of the Coast, D&D's updated rule set of the 5th edition is a massively popular RPG won't all drop at the same time. Instead, the company will yada yada. Yeah, they haven't given like a lot of details of like what the actual updates are yet, which I'm very intrigued for, because as we've discussed before, it does need some help. yeah,
there is, you know, and the thing about it is that the general consensus has switched from it being rules light to rules unfinished, and I would really hate to say it, but I kind of agree with them.
Yeah, no, I mean, we kind of figured that out real quick, especially with like not transportation, but travel. You know what I mean?
Travel needs a complete overhaul. They went way too loose with travel. But not only that, but I feel like a lot of monsters could be more interesting. You know, like I feel like, because just to give you an idea, Starfinder, if you look in the Alien Archive, which is their monster, they will have like, okay, this monster, they will generally follow this tactic. or this monster, depending on how many are in a, they will follow this certain tactic. And I feel like something like that would really come in handy. Just give us a little bit more, because like there is a lot of monsters in D&D that look interesting, but then you look at their stat blocks and it's just a big old bag of hit points that does like a certain amount of damage, and the damage is pure flavor. Like how many monsters are in D&D that look really, a slam attack that does like 2d6 plus whatever damage.
It happens way too often, bro.
Yeah.
You see it, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be a cool encounter, and then you actually run the encounter, and it's like, oh, well.
Yeah, and then the action economy is totally against monsters, and it's like, it gets to a point where, like, last session, Robert said something to the point of like, well, rarely does a combat last more than 5 rounds, and you're totally right. And the problem with that is that if it's damn near impossible to make combat interesting after those first 5 rounds, because then after that it's just roll to attack. All right, I hit.
Which has happened to me a lot. I think we had an episode about like how to make encounters a bit more interesting. Like that's why I kind of like do the whole like, okay, well, if you take down the big guy and there's just their little minions around, and then a player does like a brutal attack on somebody, like most of those minions will probably run away or surrender.
Yeah.
Which you could just narrate that instead of having to like, there's nothing worse than like, oh, I'm gonna cut his head off, and then you roll for it and you miss, and then you can't. And like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
If it makes sense, but yeah, it needs a lot of help. I'm not necessarily excited about the new core rule books. I know we've been trying to step away from D&D because we just want to play some other stuff.
I'm curious.
I think it's interesting that they're, I thought it was gonna be like 2026, but apparently 2024.
Huh. I mean, I think if you really want a really good way to make monsters more interesting in 5e, it's to follow. Okay, now I know I've been quoting Lance, but it does some things right that I really enjoy. And one of them is that it will have a whole list of NPCs, and then after that, it will have a whole list of templates that you can throw on top of those NPCs to spice them up. So and the templates range from grunt, which have like 1 HP, and they do very basic stuff, to something that's like an elite, where like this is a boss, like you're expected to see a giant health bar at the bottom of the screen when this guy shows up, so that way you can add more flavor to it. Because I can't tell you how many times that like in D&D, in some adventures, they build up this big monster, like, oh, it's terrorizing the folks are afraid of it, blah blah blah, and it's got like and 40 hit points. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be dead by round 2. So
especially, and I hate it, is when all the players roll and they're like back to back, and then the monster's like the last one to go. I'm like, sometimes like they don't even get a hit in. I'm like, what the fuck?
And the power. All right. Oh god, was the ghost trying to poison me for talking smack about them? Anyways, but the power creep for players is way too real. Like it almost gets to the point that, like, for me as a DM, like this is gonna sound kind of fucked up, but hear me out. It's gotten to the point where like I can't really have fun with the player characters after they reach a certain level, because then at this point I have to put in more work so that way they feel like they're being challenged. Because if not, they're just gonna steamroll everything, and it's just, I don't know, like.
Yeah. Well, we'll see when they release. I think the first one is in September, so right around the corner for all we know. Next episode we'll talk about the.
Yeah, right. Yeah, in 3 months.
God damn it. Oh, shit. All right. Well, let's finish this episode. I hope you guys had a good time listening to me ramble about the character origins of Death Space. Andrew, I hope you kind of learn a little bit more about Death Space. Death in Space. Jesus.
I mean, I was already hooked with the premise, so you don't have to throw any more bait out there. I'm good.
You didn't have to sell me on it. I was already gonna buy it.
Yeah. What's that Grimdark Space TTRPG? Okay, I'm sold. I literally nothing else.
Yeah. So probably after Lancer, or in between D&D and Lancer, we can play like a quick because I think these sessions will. I think these adventures will probably go pretty quickly. And I think it'll be a lot of fun too. But yeah, with that, you guys, please, if you enjoyed our episode, let us know. Give us a comment. Tell us what you think about Death in Space down below on YouTube. And I think there's a comment section on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts if you listen to us there. Make sure to follow us on Twitch and YouTube. That's where we stream live. Or we try to stream live, especially on Wednesdays. We're still playing Rime of the Frost Maiden, which is ramping up to the finale.
Yes.
So
yes,
make
it
sure
will.
to join us for that. And with that, you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And as always, keep on gaming, my dudes.
Bye.